Black Magic Woman podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this episode on. We also acknowledge traditional owners of the land where you, the listener or viewer, are tuning in from. We would like to pay our respects to our elders past and present and acknowledge that this always was Aboriginal land and always will be Aboriginal land.
What we do with Dem Mob is more so like you got to walk the walk, to talk the talk. I think later on the road, once we're able to obviously make it more sustainable, we will get more opportunity to go home and be able to share experiences with our children and obviously fill up their cups as well, to inspire them and obviously help them become better versions of themselves as well.
Welcome to the Black Magic Woman podcast with Mundanara Bales.
Welcome to another episode of the Black Magic Woman podcast. I'm here on my beautiful mother's country. It's my mother's 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 mother's, and we go back to at least the 1820s here on Gadigal country. I'm joined by a band that have just flown in here for the South by Southwest massive conference here in Sydney. If you haven't heard about it, you should get online for next year and see all of the amazing, especially black talent that now gets to, kind of take up space in spaces where it's normally or predominantly non-Aboriginal people. So today I'm going to have a little yarn. If you haven't heard of these fellas before, hopefully after today you download their music, Google them, but everything will be in the show notes. So I'm going to literally ask now, just one by one, if you don't mind, you want to introduce yourself to my listeners and also some of our viewers on YouTube. What's your name? Where you fellas from? And then we'll get into how you got an invitation to come down here to Sydney.
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Elijah, James Umahuri. I go by the stage name of Uncle Payday. I'm a rapper and I'm one of the rappers. Also play a bit of a producing role as well, co-producing with our DJ, DJ Chilps.
Look out, multi-talented, eh?
What's up, everybody? My name is John Taylor, rap name Jalud. I'm also a rapper, a part of Dem Mob.
Where them Laurie's from? Coloured Stone Mob?
Yeah.
Yes, so you come from a very famous Aboriginal family, musicians.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Most people will recognise that last name straight away, especially if they grew up black.
Yeah.
Too deadly.
Hey, my name's Bazza Edwards. I'm from Amara. Yeah, I do most of the singing in Demob.
And how did Demob, now that's the band name, right? How did it come about? Whose idea was it to go, hey, let's get into a band? And how did you even come up with the name?
Dem Mob. Back in 2019, like my teacher, known as my producer now, and also DJ. I've known Elisha since wheelchair days back in Adelaide. And then, yeah, we all had a big talk about it. At that time, I was pretty much in and out of school. So, yeah, we just all came up with this crew name called Dem Mob. Like, Matt came up with it first and then was like, Dem Mob. Sounds like a pretty good name. What about Us Mob? He was like, nah, come on, man, we have to put Dem Mob. And then that's how the name just became its thing, It's between schoolwork becoming this big thing, like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
How long were we talking about when you kicked off this band and said, you know what, we're actually going to get serious about this?
I guess, yeah, just to touch base a little bit on what John was saying earlier. Dem Mob organically formed as a vehicle to get John Day through his senior schooling. Through his year 11 and 12, it was a project that was kind of designed to re-engage disengaged students, obviously using hip-hop and elements of culture and language, and trying to bring hip-hop into the classroom more so as a form of teaching. And then it kind of just naturally kind of built its own thing outside of a school project thing.
Yeah.
We started doing a couple of shows in like a nearby town called Alice Springs, which was probably a 5-hour drive from where we were based at the time. We did like probably 2 shows a month, start of a term, end of the term, just to kind of like get all the teachers around, because all the teachers obviously all around came from different states and they were obviously living away from their family and investing their time into teaching our children in our schools. And then, it eventually started picking up, got offered to play festivals. And at the time, we were still in the lands. We were playing festivals, but still using like the festival shows as a way to tick boxes for John Day senior schooling. So like we played WOMAD, and we kind of used WOMAD as an external assignment, basically, and being like, he's played this, and like we've designed a module to obviously replicate that stage into a paper to tick off that box, which then gets him the paper that he needs. And that's how we kind of went about it. And then obviously he ended up graduating, and obviously Gully was a big part of the school stuff. He was always trying to find obviously new ways to try and help our children at home and disengage students, and we would always plan and talk about these massive ideas on how to obviously implement culture and language and music in classroom to obviously try and get better outcomes for our kids in school.
Yeah, to satisfy mainstream education curriculum and standards and all of that.
Yeah, basically.
That's a pretty impressive school to actually acknowledge the strength of Aboriginal culture, the strength of our culture when Aboriginal people like us, especially younger mob, when we're actually encouraged and supported to actually practice our culture, but also tick the boxes in terms of the education, the assignments. I've never heard of many schools that have been flexible, adaptive and supportive, especially in 2024.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I'm proud that it became a thing for us and also for me. So yeah, big love and shout out to Elisha and Matt and also Basso too. Demob grew, and these guys being flexible enough in that curriculum. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, and just that inspiration now to this next younger mob family, cousins, brothers, sisters, to be able to, like you said, it's sometimes I feel a little bit kind of disheartened when they label black kids as disengaged. What it is this curriculum and this system doesn't fit within our culture. Yeah, that's the one. And we need to make it work, right? So how do we make education and learning in white mainstream schools, how do you make it fun, engaging and exciting and stimulating that our kids can't wait to go to school? I went to a black school. I went to a Murray school. All Aboriginal kids, 27 of us. And I'm on the board of that school now. My grandmother's brother, 30 years ago in Brisbane, founded that school. I went to 13 other schools, dealt with a lot of racism. My name, Mandanara, is rainbow in my language, but that also kind of gave me up. So being an Aboriginal kid trying to kind of navigate white mainstream school systems and dealing with racism, I felt disengaged as well, trying to figure out, like, do I want to finish school? Why do we get sent to this school? And also starting to question, like, am I the problem? What's wrong with me? I've got 5 kids, and one of my kids, he struggles with this education. He's at tutoring now. If you could just say anything to these young mob that people have kind of given up on them, or, they don't have this opportunity or the support to go into a school classroom where people are going, oh, look, culture, we know that if Aboriginal people and kids are encouraged and supported to practice their culture, we can implement this in the curriculum. So a lot of our kids are not going to get this opportunity, right? But already they're kind of not, I wouldn't say that they've been, what would you say? Like, people have given up on them. There's a lot of our young people. Yes. And teachers play a very important role in our young people, whether they can build confidence in them to back themselves. Like, we're deadly people, but for a long time it's been this negative kind of stigma amongst us as Aboriginal people. So I think this is a deadly yarn, kicking it off with how do we make first education and culture, how do we bring it together, how do we bring the Aboriginal world and whitefellow world together and make it work. Otherwise, where would you be today? If that program wasn't available, you probably wouldn't have these opportunities, right? And this is all of our kids right across this country, and I really can't wait for people to hear this yarn already. We only just got started. But music, right? Education is important. Education, without it, we're not going to be able to get a job. We're not going to be able to, buy a car and pay our rent and support our families and, do the thing, buy shoes, buy clothes, do all the nice things, right? So education's important, getting a job, but music obviously has been the main part now of the success of the band coming together. How have you been able to then kind of, you got a manager now, because you fellas are still young, who's been behind you to give you then the knowledge and the understanding of being in an industry like this music industry now, so that you fellas can do this for the next 10, 20 years?
I guess it just goes back to the man that started everything. Kali has been a big part of our development individually as young Indigenous men. He's been a consistent, obviously, male role model to us as young Indigenous men. He's always had our back since the start. Like, he manages us, he manages and DJs. We are looking for, obviously, more like support for his behalf.
Yes,
because he's doing so much.
Well, here, see that camera?
For us at the moment.
Tell people that are listening and watching this, what is it that you fellas need to be able to keep living out your dream and doing what you love, so that you can keep inspiring our mob, our young mob as well?
I guess it's just obviously trying to gain more exposure within what we do with Demob. Is more so like we're trying to, obviously, you got to walk the walk, to talk the talk, and with kids at home, they're always obviously watching us now on social media, and when we go home, they've always got so much questions, and they're always excited for us to go back. But because we don't have much support, obviously, outside in the industry at the moment. Like, we're still connecting and building our connections within networking and that stuff. I think later on the road, once we're able to obviously make it more sustainable, we will get more opportunity to go home and be able to share experiences with our children, and obviously fill up their cups as well, to inspire them and obviously help them become better versions of themselves as well.
Yeah. And winning awards.
Yeah.
Right, I heard about this one. Like, just for community, how much did it mean to you? What was it like, that feeling to be acknowledged, winning an award and kind of celebrating?
Winning the awards was pretty big for us. It was a goal, last year. So we won like 5 awards.
Just 5? Look out.
In a row, like I was shocked. Like, I thought like one could just make us more excited because we worked so hard last year.
Yeah.
So with the other awards we gave one to Chasm. That's University of Adelaide, Chasm.
Yes, yeah.
And then I gave mine to my family. Elisha did the same. Yeah, Basso too. And we also gave one back to Ernavella School. That's where I grew up and learned.
Yeah.
So yeah, like for that, like awards, it is a big thing, and like that also shows us too that we're out, we're doing music.
Yeah,
but we also
people
love
loving it. People loving what you're producing, what you're making.
Yeah, we went.
Yeah, and then we also love giving back to the community too. So
go back, do shows.
Yeah,
and sometimes it'd be good to be, like, hey, look at, we got some money here. We're going to get paid to do this.
Yeah.
A lot of it's for the love, right? We're doing it for a lot of the time for our family, for our communities, culture and language. I know that you fellas, that's number one for you fellas, right? And your language, you want to tell people some of the music that you sing is in your language, some traditional language. I was hearing you speaking before.
Yeah. So yeah, we speak Pitjantjatjara, Yankunytjatjara. It's kind of like more desert mob, Central Australia. I guess like we rap both in both languages, just to be able to obviously share messages and just to create a bit of separation between messages within songs. And I think it's a cool way. It's very creative on obviously being able to touch base with 2 audiences within one verse or within 2 sentences within the rap. And I think that's, I don't know, for me, like, I just love when the songs are coming up, and I know when it's going to get to the switching from language to language, because it just gives you that opportunity to really obviously be able to represent who you are as an Indigenous person and really like speak your language but rap it at the same time confidently. but then you're obviously seamlessly switching flows, and I think that's a cool perspective of it.
It's telling them younger mob too how important it is to learn their culture, to learn their language, to sit with them old people. That's a lot of us are privileged, a lot of us to have that kind of exposure and culture, but there's a lot of our mob that unfortunately for whatever circumstances haven't had the opportunity to learn their language or find their people or their country. So if people are listening now, especially when you think about any of our mob, especially wanting to be you fellas sitting on this couch now, what would you say to them if there's younger people now listening because they want to be part of Dem Mob?
Just keep pushing forward, like even though you're Indigenous or not, just keep working harder than others, but don't try to impress others, impress yourself, inspire yourself, and keep pushing towards like break rules, push limits. It's keep going ahead, just don't think nothing more but what's good for you,
Don't give up. Back yourself.
Yeah.
I was just going to say for you, like from here, what's going on? Like what's your next big, can you share with us any projects, anything in the pipeline? You performing somewhere? What's going on for the next, say, 12 months for you fellas?
We're kind of in, I think after South by, we're going to hit the studio. We're working on an album, which is kind of cool. I think we're excited we're at that point where we've kind of found our feet with what we want to do sound-wise. I think the last 4 to 5 years was obviously searching for what we wanted to do and whatever we released, what was going to represent us the best. And I think we're at that point. So we're going to hit the studio. We're looking to get our album out or album ready by the end of the year. We're not sure when we're going to drop it yet. And next year, we've got an artist coming over from New York. Her name's Jasmia. We're hitting the studio with her when we get back to Adelaide, starting from Monday. We're doing a collab with her. That collab's going to be a part of our album. She's coming in as like a mentor to obviously help us further our industry skills more as artists, but also as obviously young fellas that are still trying to find their feet in the industry and just give us a bit of advice on like where to go to and how we should go about the next couple of years of our journey.
True, deadly. I'm so excited for you fellas to be able to, do what you love doing, sharing your culture, practicing your culture, going back to your community and being, that kind of, it's not even providing hope for our young people, but sometimes it seems like there's a lot of shit that we deal with as black fellas in our communities, right? And sometimes music, I know when I listen to music, it's like an escape, listening to music, but listening to black music, I feel empowered. So people can listen to you. Where do they find you before we wrap up? Where is that? YouTube, Spotify, which way?
You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and like Instagram, Facebook, like we're everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much. We're everywhere.
Yeah, give us a shout out. If you ever want to talk, if you ever want to chat, just flick us a message and one of us will hopefully get back.
And one of us will hopefully get back. Before they get too big, too famous, and you need to ring someone to talk to someone to get to someone, you better reach out to these fellas now before they blow up. Triple J, you fellas on the radio.
Yeah, to be honest, that was crazy because I heard about that and I was like, Triple J?
Yeah.
I never even heard it myself. Like, yeah, that was pretty incredible. Like, Matt was like, oh, you guys want Triple J? And then I was sitting there like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a moment. That's a pinch yourself moment. You fellas growing up in the community and now getting the opportunity to travel the world. I heard you was in one of the tallest buildings. How many stories? How many levels?
Not me.
I don't know.
I was like, I'm staying on the ground where I belong.
I swear it was 102. 102 floors.
You fellas you just look like everyday black fellas. You see down the street, say hello. Next minute is singing and performing on global stages at global events. For my audience that have never heard of these fellas, I'm sure now people will be looking you up. So I just want to say
thank you so
congratulations for everything that you've achieved so far. And I know, like I said, I'm a mum. I've got little fellas. They like to rap. Maybe one day they might take it serious, especially if they get to sit and watch you fellas or listen to the podcast now. How many more of our young people you might be able to say, hey, there is, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is opportunities. Don't give up. Stay in school. I always tell my kids, they want to quit school. I said, don't worry, school right now is just a thing. It's going to be in the past one day. It's not forever.
I mean, like I did wag school a lot. I did drop that a bit. But I regretted that. So year 11 and year 12 was the time I had to redeem myself. So don't drop out, guys. Trust me, like it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't make the mistakes. Listen, this fella, he's been there, done that, and look where he is now. So I just want to say all the best here on my country. I hope you have a deadly show and you have the best time ever. Next time, maybe we'll be able to come visit your community and see you fellas in your your own environment, in your own element. So
sounds like a plan.
all the best for South by Southwest. Stay black.
Thanks for having us on your land.
You're welcome, my brothers. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you'd like any more info on today's guest, please visit our show notes in the episode description. A big shout out to all you Deadly Mob and allies who continue to listen, watch and support our podcast. Your feedback means the world. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple and Spotify, or even head to our socials and YouTube channel and drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. The Black Magic Woman podcast is produced by Clint Curtis.